What's up guys, welcome back to Grafting Dragon Fruit. It's Richard, and in this video today, I'm going to be showing you guys how to create your own dragon fruit hybrid. I know a lot of you guys have been asking me how to create your own, so I'm finally getting a chance to show you guys because I have the perfect opportunity with these flowers to do that today. Okay, so some things you guys are gonna need is, if you don't have a vacuum, you can get this on Amazon. I have it in my Amazon affiliate store. You guys can find this. It's about 20 bucks and it makes your pollinating job a lot easier. If you guys don't have this vacuum, just get some silver stainless bowls and I'll show you guys how to knock the pollen out so that way we can use it to go and cross-pollinate some dragon fruits and create your own dragon fruit hybrid, all right? So it may seem complicated. You guys are probably like, what rocket science do I have to learn to create a new dragon fruit hybrid? And it's just as simple as pollinating two different varieties to each other and harvesting the fruit, and that's how you guys are gonna get the hybrids. The fruit is actually gonna have all the seeds with both of the genetics in them, so that's what we're gonna be doing today. So the varieties that I've chosen to cross-pollinate to create a new hybrid today is Sugar Dragon, and then right after we collect all of this Sugar Dragon pollen, we're gonna rush over to wildberry Skittles. It's slowly opening as we speak now. It's about 8 o'clock, so it's getting dark. So I'm gonna try to hurry and do this so that way you guys can see everything before it gets pitch black, all right? So I'm not going to use this vacuum because I'm gonna save this for wildberry Skittles. Wildberry Skittles, the pollen is deep down inside there because the anthers are shorter and it's harder to get, so I can't just easily knock it out with the back of my brush like how I can with Sugar Dragon. And I don't want to use this yet because if I suck all of this Sugar Dragon pollen in here, it's gonna cross-contaminate this. I made sure to clean out all of the pollen in here so that way there's no other pollen that's gonna contaminate when I do my hybridization. You guys wanna make sure everything is clean, wash your brushes. If you guys used the brush the previous night before, clean it very well because that leftover pollen, you don't wanna contaminate it. And now you're gonna have two different pollen source on the variety that you're trying to create. So be very clean when you guys are doing the hybridization, and you guys gonna need some of the nets, which I will show you guys. They're called fruit nets, so then that way natural pollinators can't pollinate it by accident either. So if you guys have all of that set, then we can finally get started on the hybridization, okay? So I'm gonna put this down. I'm gonna use my silver stainless bowl. And right now, it hasn't fully opened yet, but I still can get in here to get the pollen. So what I do with my brush, guys, is I use the back, I bend the petals down, I get really deep in there, just like this. So now you have the pollen bowl sitting right on top of all the anthers. We're gonna use the back of our brush to just knock the pollen down. And if you guys look in my silver stainless bowl, you're gonna start seeing all of that pollen knocking right down. And sometimes they're gonna fall onto the petals, and I just hit the petals like this to get the remainder pollen off. So you don't need much, but since I'm already doing it, I'm just gonna go ahead and take it all out because again, if we have a natural pollinator come in here and try to grab on this pollen, there's gonna be some left over and they might contaminate with the Sugar Dragon pollen again. So now that we have the Sugar Dragon pollen, let's go rush over to wildberry Skittles, and we're gonna go ahead, cross-pollinate that, and I'll explain to you guys what's gonna happen once we do that. So let's go. Alrighty, you guys, here is wildberry Skittles, and as you can see, it hasn't opened as wide as the Sugar Dragon because wildberry Skittles does tend to bloom a little later. About 9 o'clock is when you see her fully bloom, but you know, this is just perfect, so that way I can see the stigma, which is hiding right there, and we can cross-pollinate it with the Sugar Dragon pollen. All right, guys, are you guys ready? Here we go. So what I'm doing is I have my brush here. I'm taking Sugar Dragon pollen, and now I'm cross-pollinating it with wildberry Skittles. And make sure you get a good amount on there. This is just gonna help it produce more seeds. It's gonna be more fertile, and your fruit is gonna just have all of those hybrids that you're gonna want. And just like that, you guys just created a new dragon fruit hybrid that no one has ever tried or tasted or seen before. It's gonna be the very first of its own kind. And I'm not talking about the fruit. The fruit doesn't change in genetics, it doesn't change in flavor, it doesn't change in shape, color, or anything like that. When you're using another pollen to cross-pollinate it with another variety, the seeds are now gonna be carrying both of those genetics. So what I did was I used Sugar Dragon pollen. So this is basically the father. we're using the pollen, and this is the mother. Wildberry Skittles is the mother, and we just impregnated, pollinated it with the sugar dragon pollen. So once it accepts this pollen and becomes a fruit, the fruit's gonna carry both of those genetics now. The seeds are gonna have 50% sugar dragon genetics and 50% wildberry Skittles genetics. So that's what you guys are gonna want. So when this fruit grows and fully ripens, those seeds are gonna be your new dragon fruit hybrid. And that's why I highly encourage you guys to learn how to graft, because once you have those seeds, if you grow them by seeds, it's gonna take about 4 to 5 years before you see your product, your fruit. So when you graft them, you can get the fruit within a year. So that's why you guys see me always having new varieties every year. And this is the process that I do to create a new dragon fruit, you guys. All right, so now you guys understand a little bit of what happens once we cross-pollinate them, what's gonna happen to the seeds, what's gonna happen to the fruit, which is absolutely nothing, is it's gonna still taste like wildberry Skittles, a really good tasting fruit, but all those seeds are now gonna be special seeds because now they carry sugar dragon and wildberry Skittles genetics together. And when you graft them, you're gonna get a whole new variety that's gonna be your very own on whichever variety you guys choose to hybridize. All right, so now that we have wildberry Skittles nice and pollinated, we are gonna go now and collect the pollen from wildberry Skittles. So this is where the the vacuum is gonna come so in handy. So you see, I see there, all the pollen is in there. So all I have to do is turn this on and just start collecting all of that pollen. And I like to go really deep in there. And don't be afraid to mess up the flower, you guys. It's not a pretty look when you guys are creating dragon fruit. A lot of the flower petals are gonna get damaged because we have to do all of this extra work just to get the pollen and just ensuring that it won't, you know, contaminate itself. The main thing is we do not want to contaminate the pollen, right guys? So let's check our canister. We're gonna open this before we move, just in case we don't have enough. We will collect more if needed. So check that out, guys. All of the pollen is right in the center right there. So I'm gonna knock it in here. Got a really good amount. And what I'm gonna do is, it sometimes gets stuck to the sides of this, and I like to hit it like this. And now we have wildberry Skittle pollen. Okay, let me put some of this stuff down. We're gonna rush over to wildberry Skittles, and then, or to sugar dragon, and then pollinate it with the wildberry Skittle pollen. All right, guys, so let's go. So we're just going back to where we started. Okay, before I pollinate this, let me just grab this bag real quick. And this is the fruit net that I was talking to you guys about. This is gonna prevent the night moth, any bees that come early in the morning that collect all of the other pollen that's still not covered, and they sometimes want to visit this flower to see if there's any pollen either, and they can accidentally contaminate it with another variety. Like my Vietnam Red is blooming right now. A bee can go on there and come over here and ruin the whole hybridizing process. So this is a very important last step, okay guys? All right, now that we have wildberry Skittle pollen in here, all you have to do is take this pollen and pollinate this stigma. Make sure you guys use every single drop of pollen. And this is just gonna help it produce more seeds, bigger fruit, and it's just gonna be a whole new variety once you guys collect the seeds. Okay, so it's just gonna be recapping on what I just said over there with wildberry Skittles. So what just happened right now was I used wildberry Skittles pollen. I pollinated it to my sugar dragon. So now this sugar dragon is still gonna stay sugar dragon. Nothing's gonna change about it genetically wise, but now the seeds carry both of these genetics. So now sugar dragon, the mother, has 50% of wildberry Skittles genetics, and the seeds are now gonna also have 50% sugar dragon genetics. So that's how you guys create a new dragon fruit hybrid. And the last step is, you guys are gonna take this fruit net here. I like to kind of close things up, and I roll it up like that so it goes right to the top and cover like that. We're gonna tie this around. Make sure you guys actually tie, because those bees sometimes find their way in there and they get in like that. And I like to create some space between the stigma and the net, because even a bee landing on here and there was some pollen on its leg and it can shake in there, it still can get contaminated. So do that, all right, guys? Now, I'm gonna go back to wildberry skittles, finish up the last net that I gotta put on it, and then we're gonna be done for the night. And then we just wait the 45 to 50 days for when the fruit's ready. And we can harvest the fruit, and then I can show you guys the next step, which is taking those fruits, sprouting them, and grafting them. So if you guys are interested in me doing a follow-up part for that, let me know in the comments, and then I'll graft some of these seeds. And if you guys are interested in these seeds, I might just even, start selling them on my website. I do this to teach you guys, but at the same time, a product does come out of it. So if you guys are interested, I'll definitely share that with you guys all. So I'm doing the same thing, rolling that net up right here. This flower doesn't need to be closed because it hasn't fully bloomed yet, so it's gonna be very easy to just toss this right over. And now what we're gonna do is tie it right up again. Just like that. And create some space. And the final step, very important step. If you guys forget this part, you might as well not grow these seeds, because you might forget what you even pollinated with, is marking what you just did right now. So today is August 8th. So I'm gonna write August 8th, 8/8. And I pollinated with sugar dragon, so I want to put cross XSD. So now I know that this fruit carries the genetics of sugar dragon. I pollinated on August 8th, so I can count the days from this day to 45 to 50 days from now, and then harvest this fruit, and then say confident that this was pollinated with sugar dragon. So I know both of those genetics are in there, wildberry skittles and sugar dragon genetics are in here. Take those seeds, dry them out, sprout them, graft them, and then voila! We have a brand new dragon fruit hybrid created by your very self. So that's how you guys create new dragon fruit hybrids. And I hope you guys use all of this knowledge and have fun with it. And you can have your very own variety, and you can name it whatever you like, just like me. I have so many fun names. You guys can finally do that too. Once you grow it and it's your own, you can name it however you want. So that's the cool part of growing your very own dragon fruit hybrid. And it's gonna be a fruit that no one has ever tried. You're gonna be the first person to try your very own flavor. So that's gonna be very cool. All right, guys, that's it for how to create your own dragon fruit hybrids. It's as easy as that, but you guys just gotta make sure you guys follow all of these steps to ensure those genetics stay true to what you're trying to do. All right, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. If you guys did, hit that like button. If you guys have any questions with what I did today or how to create dragon fruit hybrids, anything, leave in the comments below and I'll get back to you guys as soon as I can. And if you guys haven't subscribed to the channel yet, hit that subscribe button so that way you won't miss a single thing. And I'll see you guys on the next episode of Grafting Dragon Fruit. Peace.